Welcome to the 12th set of ideas or exchanges using the Sehna-Vavtu approach. This is within the 12th set. This is the second part of a 4-set ideas where we are giving evidence of well-being for a research hypothesis and research methodology. After discussing and discovering that the mind has changed, the human mind has changed its exploration in the year 2008. So does adding goodness to excellence create measurable well-being? Part 1 of the evidence we gave last time was about how adding goodness to excellence seeking in education creates well-being in society. The evidence was of transforming students' attitudes. This is one of the requirements of OECD from education. The emphasis of transforming character, another key requirement, was fulfilled here by adherence to truth and discipline as well as dedication to duty and devotion. Students now graduate with an inbuilt desire to serve society. A myopic, self-centered approach that may be emerging from sense perception as the very first way of knowing is replaced by creating a desire for selfless service. This is done by making students aware of the essence that Feuerbach and Hegel talk of. The essence is experienced by them as selfless love through selfless service, or Gram Seva as they call it, service to villages and villagers living there. Are some avenues of service created within the complex that where we have given evidence of or nearby for graduating students to pursue their service even after they graduate and leave these institutions? In this part, we will examine other evidence of other activities which not only define the parameters of well-being but also give evidence of their fulfillment. If we go back to the book How to Prevent Recession, that book is in 2 parts. Why? Because the 2 parts are first awareness and the second is study of limits. Awareness is what the human mind needs to have about the essence. It should be aware of the essence, which is selfless love, whose realization makes living in peace possible. This essence is beyond the human sense perception, which is the very first way of knowing in the IB curriculum. Going beyond the limitation of sense perception, many practices in education use self-discipline to create purity of human intention at these where we have given evidence. The idea is to create an awareness of living in unity with society and the world through purity by realizing the innate essence within each one. This essence is of creating excellence filled with goodness, which is called divinity in this tradition. So they want to bring out the innate divinity which is within each individual. The second part of the book, this is the first part, part A of the book. The second part of the book is about a study of limits. The best example given of this is the human body, which keeps good health only when all its parameters are within limits, like blood pressure is within limits, temperature is within limits, sugar levels are within limits. So similarly, human actions too should be within limits. To create awareness as part of well-being, the educational institutions were created. To restore human bodies to the optimum study of limits they should have, healthcare facilities were created simultaneously. This fulfills both goals of education and goals of well-being. Around the time the general hospital the educational institutions were opened, the general hospital was moved to a larger location. How do ideas of well-being driven by selfless love unfold? We are studying that. We are seeing evidence of that. They begin by looking after human health and move to educating the mind and then to using the mind. So let's see how it unfolds further. A general hospital was then set up in Bangalore too. Today it treats about 300 to 400 patients a day. With 80 beds, 3 OTs, departments of general medicine, general surgery, pediatrics, ENT, urology, etc., gynae, orthopedics, plastic surgery, psychiatric, lab facilities, etc., etc. A super specialty followed. Let us remember, this was a small hamlet in the 1900s, and this is not a corporate social responsibility of a large corporate. This was made by one of the residents of what were just 200 houses in the hamlet. One of the residents there has done it. And this is an award-winning architecture which was built at the cost of 300 crores then in a record time of 10 months. The hospital is equipped with the latest equipment that is there in the world. Its list of specialties include cardiology, cardiothoracic and vascular surgery, radiology, urology, plastic surgery, ortho, gastroenterology, ophtha. It has anesthesia, it has blood banks, laboratory services, dietary services, nursing, etc. The excellence, if we see the excellence, let's take the department example of one department only, the cardiothoracic and vascular surgery. You can see, as is being shown in the slide, that there are 3 fully equipped state-of-art OTs. You can read that they have the latest equipment, including for blood-saving procedures in complex cases, for totally when there is total circulatory arrest. They're fully equipped with that. In this one department alone, they have 20-bed ICU with 30 pre- and post-operative ward beds. It is certified with the DNB program. And let's look at the faculty. The visiting faculty are all internationally recognized. They use advanced technology in their daily practice. They are visiting periodically to teach and perform procedures. So they are using cutting edge in the surgical techniques here. And this is for the service of what? The poorest of the poor. The visiting faculty include the Chief of Cardiothoracic Surgery at the University of Chicago, a professor at the Utah University School of Medicine, the Director of International Heart Institute, Palm Springs, USA, a faculty member at Chicago who is the authority on robotic surgery, a faculty member of the Oregon Health and Sciences University of USA, the adult cardiothoracic surgeon at NSW Hospital, Australia, and a surgeon at the Medical Center in New York, USA. These are the people who are, associated, actively involved in teaching, researching, and working in this hospital. So let's see what happens. The Karnataka government, which is, another state, not this state, has requested for a super specialty to be set up in Bangalore also. And look at the power of selfless love. This facility that you are seeing on the slide was created in using 6 million man-hours within a record time of 9 months. It is a 52-acre hospital, and this is the aerial view of a 52-acre hospital where the departments include cardiology, cardiac surgery, neurology, neurosurgery, and you can read all the departments here. They are on the slide. They have all the facilities and they are doing telemedicine. And it is accredited by the National Board of Exams for postgraduate training in super specialties. So it has DNB in cardiology, cardiac surgery, neurosurgery, radiology, etc. And the large number of visiting consultants from within and outside the country are helping residents learn about the latest developments. They have a state-of-the-art video conferencing facility to enable residents to interact with experts worldwide. And what are the details? 333-bedded tertiary care hospital formed in the letter K denoting Karuna or compassion. Wherever His Holiness the Dalai Lama, for example, goes, he always talks of Karuna. And this hospital is in the shape of K. So all faiths have the same conclusion. The website here says that you can read the infrastructure wise. It has the state-of-the-art Siemens scanner, Siemens cath lab, Philips cath lab, Medtronic neuronavigation system, 8 fully equipped OTs, automated biochemistry and microbiology analyzers, high-end diagnostic cardiology equipment, HIS, Hospital Information System from Computer Science Corporation and Fuji system. And look at the service it has done over the last 15 years. Over 21,000 neurosurgeries, 17,000 cardiac surgeries, 46,000 diagnostic and interventional cardiac catheterizations, and more than 10,40,000, over a million outpatients have received outpatient consultations. The hospital doesn't wait for the patients. All these hospitals reach out to the patients. They have a mobile hospital clinic along with telemedicine. And here, cardiology and all other facilities are given using telemedicine. So does adding goodness to excellence create well-being that can be measured? Maybe not. But what can be measured is being shared here. You see, the total number of patients in the OPDs is 51,30,000. That's over 5.13 million. The diagnostic done exceed 26 million or 2.6 crores. They are treating 5,000 outpatients every day. The surgeries performed are almost 0.33 million. That's 328,000 surgeries, including cardiosurgeries, neurosurgeries. The diagnostic tests have exceeded 2.61 million. 2 lakhs, not 2.61, 26 lakhs, no, 2 crores, 61 lakhs, 24,000, which is a mind-boggling number. So you are looking at 26 million. The total number of villages covered by the mobile hospital are 440. The total free services provided by mobile hospitals till date exceed 0.8 million. And the mobile hospitals alone have done diagnostic tests which exceed 30,000. And cardiac telemedicine services are being given to 600 villages every month. But is this work filled with goodness executed with excellence? A PhD thesis has researched this and has found, that the satisfaction level of inpatients and outpatients, as well as the value that they receive, was far higher in this super specialty hospital in what was a hamlet than in the government or in the private sector hospitals. Therefore, the highest quality of service with the highest customer satisfaction is an indication of achieving excellence while doing goodness. So how much does the treatment cost here? It's free of cost. So what is the well-being that is being created? Can we measure it? One indicator could be not just the satisfaction which cannot be measured by the recovering patients, but if you see even in monetary terms, even calculated at highly subsidized central government health scheme rates, the savings are exceeding 25,100 million rupees. So what may be unique about the well-being created here? It is probably the only charitable trust in India to offer complete medical care, including consultation, diagnosis, comprehensive treatment, and follow-up and diet at the primary, secondary, tertiary levels to all patients, free of charges, free of all charges, irrespective of caste, creed, religion, or economic status. No wonder the United Nations Economic and Social Council gives this trust a special status, a special consultative status, allowing it to actively engage with the UN body and its subsidiary bodies, and to participate in their programs and coordinate with their secretariat, with the power to make representations in the fields that it is working in. So how is this evidence of well-being the core of well-being and the core of the idea of ancient wisdom? We know that the first in OECD's index is income. In ancient wisdom, instead of income, the focus was on wealth. Health was considered as one of the most significant forms of wealth. That is why the popular saying is, health is wealth. Another important determinant of wealth is knowledge that becomes wisdom. For money or income can be stolen and lost, it may be difficult to recover, but knowledge, especially that which transforms to wisdom, can never be stolen. In fact, if money is stolen, wisdom and knowledge can be used to earn it again. Another form of wealth is character. It is the stepping stone to wisdom. Ancient Indian wisdom says if money or income is lost, nothing much is lost. If health is lost, something is lost. But if character is lost, everything is lost. Everything is lost. Ancient Indian wisdom seeks to create self-confidence and character with which the lost income can be regained. It seeks to impart this as an experience in which to live life. So even if there is a recession, it gives you the self-confidence and the experience to recover and bring the income back. This is beyond what the first way of knowing, that is sense perception, that the current education is imparting can achieve. Therefore, the focus of well-being is on character through education and human health. Hospitals, they restore human health, make the body fit once again. But how to use the body? Education guides how to use the body so that you can protect the health of society. Selfless love is not a strategy of business, but it works more effectively than that. Many alumni of the Institute serve in management or other positions in the hospital. The services provided here are by those who believe in the idea of selfless love and are committed to practicing it. Many volunteers come from all over the country to provide selfless service on a fortnightly or monthly basis for routine activities that are non-technical in nature. Providing loving care and attention to those in need is the work ethic that pervades. The way of restoring human health should be in a manner that transforms the heart of the receiver also. Giving help in the most caring way when it is needed is the way of selfless love. The power of selfless love used must be demonstrated by those serving here. This is the culture that pervades. All those serving here use the health of their human bodies to serve others and the needy. Awareness of the essence helps guide the mind on how to use the body. Education creates awareness of essence. Hospitals signify importance of the human body in which the awareness of the essence of selfless love should pervade. The idea of education is to create a feeling of oneness with those in need. India's recent social reform movements that led to independence and later the Bhudan movement of Vinoba Bhave used this concept. Both sought to transform the human heart. The independence movement taught that non-violence is not a sign of weakness, but should demonstrate firmness of resolve to get freedom. This firmness should emerge with forbearance to suffer any physical pain, especially during lathi charge or long prison sentences. The police used to beat those participating in the freedom movement with batons. They were riding on horseback while doing it. If the sense organs were the first way of knowing, nobody would have agreed to this approach of Mahatma Gandhi. Yet the nation responded to the call. A powerful tool to transform emotion was the prayer meeting that Gandhiji had. Morning and evening prayers are held at the educational institutions that we have given evidence about. In the prayer meeting that Gandhiji held, what was his favorite prayer? So we must, before we analyze the favorite prayer of Gandhiji, we must understand that the idea of creating awareness is to transform the human heart in a healthy body. Before transforming the heart of others, ancient Indian wisdom asks us to transform our own heart first. This is what is captured in the favorite prayer of Mahatma Gandhi, where he says, Vaishnav Jan is that je peed parai jani re. Only he is a true human being who can experience the pain of others. The education tradition of ancient wisdom seeks that you feel the pain of others as your own pain. Is the essence outside humans, as Feuerbach accuses Hegel of stating? Or can this essence be felt as sensuousness? Are sense organs the first way of knowing it? Only because Vinoba Bhave was transformed or Gandhiji was able to transform himself could he transform others. This is the path, and it lies totally outside the domain of sense organs. They use the sense organs to feel the pain of others more than their own pain. In ancient Indian folklore, the biggest battle ever, the Mahabharata, was fought over refusal to part with 5 villages. Such is the attachment to land. And in this day and age, someone enabled land transfer peacefully, and that too the largest land transfer in history, applauded by Time magazine. Can such transformation of human heart be done using sense perception? Why is this evidence being discussed in a research ethics course? Such evidence is not work considered useful in academics. It may merit a chapter in current curriculum. Such work is left to magazines to write, films to be made, stories to be told to children, and useful for motivational speeches to be made. Is their methodology that overarches the very first way of knowing of IB curriculum not worth researching? Are ethics used by them also worth researching? These examples have transformed society. Today we are at a similar point in human history. That is why OECD, World Economic Forum, are looking at education to transform attitudes, inculcate values, etc. Can the transformation done in these instances be case studies of our Sehnavavtu approach of working together? All the case studies of independence movement of India, the Bhudan movement, or examples given above have dealt with transformation of each individual to transform society. Yet, all this has been done in the Sehnavavtu approach, cooperation. Everybody participated in the freedom movement. So many people participated in the Bhudan movement. Can we re-examine the nature of evidence needed in academics? Will evidence collected and analyzed using sense perception as the first way of knowing be able to do mass transformation of attitudes, character and values? That is the expectation from education set by World Economic Forum, OECD, etc. Or do we believe Einstein when he says that a problem cannot be solved from the same mindset that has created it in the first place? Is the inability to prevent 2008 and the spread of the virus in 2020 due to challenges in human character development as well as challenges in attitudes and values? Can we learn from the mindset of ancient Indian wisdom which goes beyond sense perception as a way of knowing? Can we learn from the evidence of human transformation that is available and incorporate it in education to achieve the goals of OECD, World Economic Forum and the National Education Policy of India set in 2020? Can we distill the essence of 4 human values and develop them to transform individuals by transforming education ideas first? For that is the Sehnavavtu way. If we are open to such evidence, let us explore the current evidence further. The evidence of the independence movement's ideas has now become part of folklore. If we examine it from the point of view of sense perception, it may not provide credible evidence and may be studied as part of mythology after a few hundred years. Of course, there were economic reasons for the British to leave India, as it was economically no longer useful for them to rule. Maybe this argument will become the accepted historical narrative if sense perception is used as the primary tool for evaluating all historical evidence too. Similarly, the Bhudan movement led to most of the land being given to the government. Its actual utilization may not have met the objectives with which the land was taken. Any dichotomy in the end use from the objective leads to dissonance. Was sacrifice of sense perceptions to achieve independence also leading to such similar dissonance? Was a rejection of the importance to overarch sense perception guided by an inability to sustain the collective gains? The criticality is in the way the ideas of overarching sense perception are continued to be expanded in newer contexts, at different venues, and in ever-changing circumstances. So let us continue to examine the evidence this time. The World Economic Forum says lifelong learning is needed. What about those who have not been students here? Today, 102 schools with 60,000 children are being provided financial assistance to spread the ideals of such service to society among students. While students who have graduated serve not only the charitable institutions in this complex, but also serve corporates. In each situation, they seek to use the values they have learned. A much larger number of people exist who are past the school-going age. How do they get included? They too are inspired by the ideals of the four shared values. Many have experienced transformation using them. They join in service. They undertake lifelong learning that World Economic Forum envisages. They serve society in ways that are unique to their skills. Doctors give free service to patients, etc. They find time to reach out to the weak and needy all over the world. An All India Service Organization serves in India for the last 60 years. The organization has as its main objective selfless love and service without any distinction of religion, nationality, race, socio-economic status, either for those who work in the organization or for those who are served by them. Its motto is, and I quote, transform self to transform the world. So one of the service activities that they perform is medical. So you can see photographs of medical teams all over the country. It has three wings: education wing, service wing, and spiritual wing. And you can see the evidence of that. Its international organization works in 126 countries with 2,000 centers. It has adopted 113 communities globally, as you can see on the slide, to provide medical, environmental care, service, education, healthcare, youth issues, women's issues, and children's issues. The international organization today has 44 schools using Educare and 33 institutes. 37 schools around the world use this Educare today. It's also giving healthcare delivery in 31 countries without any publicity or soliciting of funds. Medical relief to victims of natural disasters, medical dental camps, permanent medical and dental clinics, preventive healthcare and public health, mobile medical clinics, etc. The three principles of humanitarian relief of this organization are that there is no overhead for services provided, as volunteers use their own resources. Services are rendered with love and compassion, and the volunteers are often the first to reach and last to leave. And you can see the relief has included those hit by 1,000 quakes in Puerto Rico, wildfires in Australia, cyclone in Sri Lanka, earthquake in Indonesia, floods in Kerala, humanitarian crisis in Venezuela, Guatemala's volcanic eruption, flooding in Kenya. The activities were also undertaken in USA, Philippines, Nepal, Japan, etc., etc. And it does activities in as many centers as possible. So what makes it possible? It is the personal example in giving service to the needy which sets the way. So the individual who set up these institutions, he used to give service himself. And this is Taiwan, blood donation camp. And out of the 126 countries, free healthcare delivery is done in 44 countries. There are 44 schools and 33 institutes. Some areas that seek to serve all globally with a feeling of love all. Community services, healthcare, and they prepare youth for young adults for serving communities. The humanitarian activities are spread all over the world. 160 communities are adopted in 40 countries in a sustainable manner for environment, service, education, youth, medical, women, and children. People of all faiths join in 126 countries all over the world in each of the 2,000 centers, demonstrating the concept of brotherhood of man and the fatherhood of God that this organization believes in. Is this promoting any religion or bringing out a sense or spirit that pervades all? In that way, is it a religious or a spiritual, uniting all faiths to serve society? John D. Kelly, a professor of anthropology at the University of Chicago, wrote in a book published by the University of Pennsylvania Press about Hindu missions in Fiji that this organization, which is part of the movement, rejected the label Hindu. According to Kelly, they seek their founder as the, and I'm quoting, quote, living synthesis of the world's religious traditions, unquote, and prefer to be classified as an interfaith movement. In a 2001 scholarly book, Tulasi Srinivas, published by the Columbia University Press, notes this movement that this, and I quote, global civil religious movement incorporates Hindu and Muslim practices, Buddhist, Christian and Zoroastrian influences, unquote. And in the appendix of the book, page 349, it lists 10 scholarly authors or researchers in both Europe and America who all refer to it as a new religious movement, NRM. The human and the well-being idea has ancient wisdom giving 3 perspectives to it. Now is the time to summarize what we have discussed. So, let us summarize what ancient wisdom says about the human being and about the idea of well-being that relates to humans. The basis of recognition of a human being is through the body. This concept is agreed upon by current wisdom and ancient wisdom. The human being has a mind. That too is agreed upon by current and ancient wisdom. Current and ancient wisdom both state that the body is directed by the mind. After this, the differences may start. Current wisdom states that sense perception is the first way of knowing. Ancient wisdom says that following sense perception leads to crisis. Therefore, ancient wisdom's education trains the intellect to direct the human mind to live in the awareness of the essence or selfless love. This occurs by transforming the heart. After the heart is transformed, should the mind be used? All crises are because a heart which is not transformed, a heart which is full of greed, or a heart which is full of desires to hurt others, is in operation through actions. Evidence given here is of how awareness is created and the body looked after. How to use the mind. The evidence of what is possible with selfless love will be given, but in the next session. Till then, I thank you for your time and attention, and I thank you for the questions that you have been raising, and I look forward at the end of this session to having more questions, observations, analysis and discussion on what we have discussed. Thank you so very much.